Time you so much as touch the line or cross the line, you get a headache. That's what it means to have a migraine. This threshold line, if it sits very high, these people don't get migraines. People like you and me, line is lower, we get them. And if the line is down here, you can imagine you might have headaches every day. So anything that moves the line up is your friend. Anything that moves the line down is not your friend. If it moves it up and then down, it's a false friend. So we'll talk about that. Yeah? Now, another way to draw a migraine is like this. It's a beginning, a middle, and an end. So the International Headache Society criteria for a migraine is something that is 3 days or less, 4 hours or more. And it can come with lights bother you, phobia, sounds bother you, photophobia, nausea, or vomiting. Okay? Any one of those 4 features. And a headache of the correct duration. Some people have more than one, and some of us have auras, right? Which could be visual auras, where you see spots, dots, zigzag lines, lightning bolts. They could be sensory auras, where you feel it on your skin. All sorts of things. But one thing they have in common is this window, this treatment window for a migraine, for a 3-day or less headache. It's only 30 minutes long, maybe an hour if you're lucky. So you know from experience that if you treat here and you hit it hard and you hit it fast, you might win and you might shorten the headache. Okay? But if you hit it a little too late, what happens? Well, you'll end up dragging the headache out a little longer. It might exceed 3 days. What happens if you hit it again? Well, then you might do this. Okay? And then we're in trouble. Because that is a transformed migraine. Okay, so instead of a throbbing one-sided headache, you might get a pressure in your head that's maybe about a 6 out of 10 pressure or a 3 out of 10 pressure, not a 9 out of 10 throbbing. Okay. And this pressure might feel like a hat band all the way around your head. It might feel like somebody's squeezing on your temples from the front or pulling on your hair from the back. Okay. But it is a pressure. You might wake up with it in the morning even before you've done anything yet. Okay. Now the problem with this is when the next headache shows up. Because the next migraine will have that same treatment window, but it'll be underwater. Okay? And so, if we're, say, above the water, no faded boat, okay? This is the jack on flying position. Folks can only see the top. Part of the iceberg that sinks the ship is below the surface. Okay? So the part that we need to see is down here. And so you can see the problem, right? If you fail the treatment here, you can generate noise. And after that, you can't detect signal. When you can't detect signal, you generate more noise. Okay, and so that's sort of the bigger picture here. I'll back the camera up just a little bit in case you want to take a screenshot of that. Okay, and of this concept. Okay, so what do we do? How do we solve this catch-22, right? Well, it turns out there's a way to do it. We have to get rid of the noise first. Okay? You have to drain the ocean. So it turns out at the bottom of the ocean, there is a bathtub plug. And you can pull it out, except it has a combination. So 3 things have to be true, all at the same time. If they're not true, you won't get out. So, first things first, you need 0 caffeine in your system. Caffeine is that false friend I talked about. So, say you have a headache coming, and you're about here, flying straight toward the mountain. You pull up on that throttle with a double espresso. Now you're sailing over the mountain. You think you've made it, except the plane stalls. And it drops you down, and you're down here, and then you hit this one, and this one, and you punch a hole through all 3 haystacks. Okay? Headaches that you weren't supposed to get, now you've increased your headache frequency. Okay, by 3x. Yeah? Okay, so that's why caffeine is not your friend. So what do? Well, if we want caffeine as coffee, then we change the ratios. Okay, so start with 2 parts coffee, 1 part decaf. Do that for a whole week. Then go to 1 to 1, then 1 to 2, then all decaf. So by the end, 4 weeks, you're on 0 decaf. Okay? So that's the way to taper down. If you go too fast, headaches get worse. Don't go too fast, just change the ratio. Right? If it's tea, just less tea. Right? If it's Coca-Cola, just less Coca-Cola. Half the kid, quarter of the kid, then stop. Right? So gradually reduce the caffeine because caffeine makes it not work. Now, what else could be a problem? Well, what else weighs down on the line? Interestingly, right? Pain medicines can lower the line. So we could come back and talk about that.